This is the Gerber MP600, and this is its little brother, the MP400. We've got a really simple mod today. Just going to be showing how you can swap out the plier heads on either of these Gerber tools. We'll also apply to some additional tools as well, if I'm not mistaken. But with these tools, you're going to see that they have the sliding mechanism with these retaining clips. And why might you want to swap these out? Well, there are a few different styles of plier head available. We sell on the shop a needle nose with fixed cutters. We sell a similar needle nose with replaceable cutters, as well as a blunt nose plier, which is a little bit shorter and stouter, which some people prefer. You may also need this type of instructions in order to repair your existing tool. Now, it is going to be the same on both, or at least very similar, so we will show it on both. But let's start with the MP600. And of course, the day I decided to do this, I don't have any spare plier heads on hand to demo, but we will take this plier head out and then put it back. To do this, all you're going to need is some sort of tool. You can use kind of a flathead screwdriver, perhaps, but I always like to use something like this. This is a spudger from iFixit, just kind of a nylon-y material, good for poking and prying. And I have snipped it down so one end is nice and flat and the other side is a little bit rounded, just so it doesn't stab me in the hand. You can probably improvise a fair range of different options for this. But this is what I use because I do this quite a lot. And so what we're going to look at is this retaining clip here. It is open on one end. That should be the front end of the tool. You can do this in any position. I tend to do it when it's closed, just so the tool doesn't flop around too much. And all we have to do is line up. Let's zoom down a touch. All we have to do is line up our spudging tool with that retaining clip, and we're just going to push forward. And now I'm going to press on that so it doesn't pop back in place. I'll push on the other side, and just like that, we've got our retaining clip removed. Let's grab the parts tray so we don't lose it. Well, let's try and put things in the parts tray, not underneath the parts tray. Zoom back out for this next one. And before we flip the tool over, I'm going to just open up this side of the frame, if I can. And we lost. There's two components you want to worry about here. The first one, whoops, is going to be that pusher. And the second is that little spring. Can you see both of those parts? Those are the two parts inside each side of the pliers. So you'll want to make sure you keep track of those. Let's get the other side open. Again, just going to hold that tool. We'll pop one side of that clip out. You can usually get it with just one side, and that retaining clip should lift right off. You do want to be careful with these. These do tend to break on people in use. I've never had one break disassembling a tool, but if it is fatigued from use, that could be an issue. That's why we ship all of our plier heads with a full set of hardware you'll see here. Again, we've got the pusher and the spring, so we will put those into the parts tray, and that is the disassembly. Let's go ahead and pop open the MP400, just see if there's any differences, though I doubt there are. I'm going to put pressure down on that retaining clip and simply push on it with my spudger. This one is going to be a little bit tighter. Not experienced a lot of the MP400. It has been discontinued. Careful there, I did tear up my finger on the front end of this tool, but not to worry. That clip did come out. You can see on the MP400, I think you can see, maybe we'll put it up against something flat. You can see that there is a little bit of a hump there in the middle of that. That does go down towards the tool. I'm going to set these away from that parts tray so they don't get mixed up. And we will pull out the pusher and the spring. If we were to compare these, you can see, I think you can see, actually, are they? Yeah, a little bit bigger ring on the MP600. And as far as the springs go, you're going to see a lot bigger spring on the MP. Whoops, let's hold these in the hand. A lot bigger spring in the MP600. Well, bigger around, a little bit shorter actually. The one on top from this point of view is the MP600. The one on bottom is the MP400. So just in case you have a bunch of parts lying around and need to figure out which goes to which, that may help you out a touch. So let's get the other side open. I'm just going to let that other handle get out of the way here. And I'm going to keep my left thumb on that retaining clip just so it doesn't go flying when it pops free. I'm just going to slowly work this down. Again, this is a little bit tougher, and I don't know if this is an older tool or if it's just something to expect with this. I guess it is a shorter clip so that it's going to have more, it's going to have less leverage, I guess, than on the larger model. Let's try and use a flat spudger to kind of pry this out. Maybe that'll help us a little bit. Maybe. Wow, this one's a little bit tricky, huh? Sorry about this. The joy of doing these mods live. I had not tested this one because I thought it was going to be not an issue, but I'll proceed. Let me try. I'm going to try sliding this up the way. Let's see if that helps. I'll flip the handle down, slide it up. See if we get a little bit more leverage up there. Yeah, it seems to come a little bit easier that way. I don't know why, but just gonna keep pushing this. Don't want to bend the clip at all. So we do need to continue that. There we go. And there is the second clip done. Took a little bit longer, but not to worry. So there is the plier head out. At this point, we could clean it up. I'm just gonna brush it off and we'll pop it back into the tool. Let's start again with the MP400. So we're going to feed that plier head up through the open handle. I've got the spring and pusher in place. And then, whoops, I guess I did have them in place. Let's grab some tweezers here, if I can find them. Drop those back in. So I'm just going to drop that spring in. I'll put that pusher down in place. There's an open end on the pusher that just sits over the spring. Nice and easy. You should be able to depress it in that fully open position, and then back here it should kind of hold in place. Let's grab our first clip, and we'll come in from the bottom, facing upward. In fact, we can start it off like so. So you can start it just behind there, so you only have to press past one little clip. And I'm going to hold down and press forward and see if we can't get this reassembled. I should say I've not done this much work on the MP400, so hopefully this goes a little smoother going back on, but maybe not. I feel it's starting to go. Again, I'm just pulling down with these two fingers to try and guide that underneath the captive, or the little pin that holds it captive. And of course, with the bend that's in this on the MP400, it's going to take a little bit more effort. Trying a couple different techniques here. Hopefully we can get this on okay. This one's quite persnickety. This is, as I said, the joy of doing this live. It does seem like it wants to go under. Let's grab another spudger here. Just try and peel these ends back a touch, kind of pressing outward on them. That may give us the leverage we need, and I'm pushing forward with my thumb on the left hand. Just to get that started. I may come in with a brass punch here in a second, really get some leverage on it. Don't want to do any damage to it, but got to get it on one way or another. Of course, the second time will be much easier, I hope, once we develop the right technique. So I'm going to press forward on that, just using that spudger to help protect my thumb. This is really fighting me here. Let's grab a punch. See if we can widen these jaws open just a touch to get this in place, because it's fighting me. That's too big. Maybe we shouldn't have done this live, huh? Let's go to plan B, I suppose. I thought this was going to be easy. I'm going to use a pair of pliers here and see what that gets me. I've got my twin grips. I'm just going to press these together while pressing down with my thumb to try and keep everything going in the right plane. Yeah, so it's definitely a little more difficult on this MP400. There it is. Well, that was easy. I thought this was going to be a 5-minute video. Let's try the other side here. Just get these spring and pusher in place. That is going to be my new recommended technique. I've always just used the spudger to put it back on, but for these MP400s, again, it's got that little curve in the clip, and that resists. Like, it doesn't want to sit down all the way, and then that causes its own issue. Let's try this and see if we can get it on the first try here. Again, got to keep that pressure down to make sure everything stays in line. And we will grab onto both sides. Can you see what I'm doing there? I'm grabbing onto the pin with one end of the pliers and the back of the clip with the other. I'm just going to gently squeeze it together. It starts to go. Let's see, a little bit more pressure there. There it is. So that's how long it should take with this technique. We're gonna try the old technique on the MP600 here. Again, just reassembling these plier heads for demonstration purposes. Let's drop in a spring and a pusher. And these pushers come in from the underside. So you need to put that pusher in and then close the frame over top of it. Your model may vary. And now we've got our clip here. You can see there's a little bit of a curve in that. Kind of acts the same as that big curve in the MP400. I'm going to try this with just a spudger, because that's how I'm used to doing it, and that's how long it takes on the MP600. So I'm glad you got to see the journey on the MP400, an alternative method of reassembly. Always fun to screw up on live streams. But let's try it with this side again, just pulling in with that finger, with those fingers, to keep that front end going underneath. Can you see there's a little bit of a cutout, a notch under on the back end of this peg? And that's what we're trying to start with. And there you go. that easy on the MP600. MP400, obviously, as you've seen, a little bit more difficult, but we did get it done. Thank you for the suggestion. Let me find the name of, this was requested by, where is it? Duffweld on a previous video. So thank you, Duffweld, for suggesting this Mod Monday. If you guys have any suggestions for our Mod Monday videos, leave them in the comments below. If you are a member, you can join us live Tuesday afternoons when we do these live, and we'll have a Q&A at the end of each video. And if you are watching after the fact, thank you. Make sure to watch our Mod Monday videos every Monday, where we do these live modification and demo videos. That is it for these MP600 and 400s. Obviously, if we wanted to, we could have changed the pliers out to a different style or replaced them with a newer version. And that's all I've got for y'all today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll jump into the Q&A for the members in the live stream right now.